So I'd like to welcome my co-hosts before we welcome our special guests. My co-hosts tonight are the OG creator of the co-creator of the show, Mr. Leroon. How are you? Oh,
I'm doing pretty good, Rob.
yeah.
Thanks. I'm just going through a lot of graduation stuff right now.
Oh yeah. Well, glad to have you. Glad you could make the show tonight. Thank you. And Mr. Drake Takes, how are you? Are
Delayed about 5 seconds because I can't hear you in
Oh,
Discord,
that's
but that
right.
might be
Yeah,
my problem.
it's gonna be kind of weird, you guys, because they you should be able to hear me in Discord.
If Rob's talking, I can't hear him.
Oh, except I'm not in Discord. Hold on.
There we go. Now
Yeah,
I can
you
hear
guys
you.
should be
There
able
we
to
go.
hear me in Discord.
Now we
Yeah, I can hear you.
Can you hear
There's
me,
a little
Chris?
better.
Yeah, I can. Yep.
Okay,
Welcome
good.
back.
All right. Well, welcome to the show, Chris McDermott. He's our special guest tonight, and we're going to be talking about his Kickstarter, which I'm going to show you right now. Fear,
yeah, baby.
fear. Thank you
Sure,
so much to
sure.
the Garvster for resubbing for 62 months. Wow. And thanks Drake Takes for resubbing for 72 months prior to the show. Yeah, baby. Okay, let me give you guys the link to the Kickstarter that we're talking about, which I would love to have had Google keep for me. Did it keep it? No, it didn't, so I'll go get it. I'll go get it. I will go get it.
There you go.
Okay, guys, here's the link in the chat. So I put it in the Twitch chat for you guys if you want to click on the page or so. So it's got 301 backers. I know it'll have at least 302 by the end of the show because I'm going to back this live on the show, but we're going to have Chris tell us about it. And then we're going to show you some examples in Fantasy Grounds, which I'll load up right now. So, Chris, tell us about the Kickstarter. Take it away, whatever you'd like to say.
Yeah, cool. Thanks, Rob. Thanks everyone for coming along and having a listen to the show. So I'm running a Kickstarter for my Meanders battle map. Over the course of 10 years, I've made almost 3,000 of them, and I'm offering all of them, as many as I've made, which is something like, I think it's like 2,700, plus 18 new ones with a wartime theme for $25, and that's 25 Australian. So I'm not sure what that is in American. It might be about $18 to $17, I think.
Yeah, about
I'm
17 bucks.
Right. I'm also offering some of my other products. I'm offering my Solomon Temple squares with a license. I'm also offering 5,000 of the tokens I've made to use that I use to create my maps, also with a license. So it's a rare opportunity to get hold of licensable assets for map building, which are quite rare. There aren't too many cartographers that will offer those sorts of things, given that they're their tools of the trade. It's still got 14 days to go. It's surpassed my previous record, both for backers and for funding. So thank you very much, everyone, for doing that. That's going to pay for my rent for more than a year, so I can focus on my study at university and also help out some other people. Yeah, so if there are any questions, happy to field them. Thanks.
Yeah, guys, and if you have questions, just put them in the chat, and we'll answer them. Meanwhile, I'll go through the rest. I'll just continue to scroll down. There's a lot, and then we'll go over. I'll have Chris go over the backing levels, but we'll see if we have any questions first.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to answer it before I ask the question, but it's got to be the zombie one had to been the funnest to draw. That looks fun.
Well, yeah, you're actually quite right. There's nothing. Do you ever play SimCity and you build up an
Yeah.
entire city and then you just smash it and you send plague, fire, and tsunamis and just tear it down? I mean, that is a really fun part of mapping. You make this pristine city and then you cover it in blood and gore and bodies and smashed glass. I mean, there is a certain enjoyment to that for sure.
So John was asking if these maps have line of sight. The Kickstarter doesn't, but Chris and I are working on a project together, so we'll talk about that soon.
Yeah, and we got something later in the show. We'll show you about the line of sight.
Yep.
And to cover Simbarchi's question, I'll have him do that in just a second. But I want to make sure people know the concept. For those that don't know, all of his maps interlink. So here's an example of exit points on the maps, and you can link them up. So you can have an indefinite way for your party. You can put them on one map, and then they can exit off any side, and the next map, no matter if you choose it from the same set or a different set, it'll interlock directly. So the roads will lead off, or whatever the pathway or the
Then you
hallway.
could just meander through it.
You can
Right.
meander. Exactly. So it's really a great concept, and with over 2,700 maps, I mean, come on.
You'll never run out.
Yeah.
For sure.
You'll never
He has
use.
transitions too. So if you guys have like like an ice kind of thing, and you want to go into the mountains, he's made a whole bunch of transitions, so you can kind of convert from one type of map to another. So it's not such a big contrast. So he does have stuff like that too.
All right, so Chris, if you would, let's go over the tiers. So the first tier is about $8 US. What does the first tier get you? Oh, it gets you the new 18 ones you've did.
Yeah, this is probably one of the genres I couldn't touch on enough over the years. Basically, it's more like a modern destroyed city. Like think perhaps bombed London or Berlin with brick buildings and things collapsed and sort of like a two-tier system where you can have the street below and then you can have buildings above where you can have snipers and all sorts of adventures up in the buildings as well. Plus, farmland and barns and bridges have been requested numerous times, so I thought I would try and include some of those as well.
Okay, great. Sounds interesting for the people that like the war torn theme. Okay, the second tier, which is about $17 US, that looks like it gets you a ton of stuff. That's basically every map you've ever made.
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay,
Yeah,
well that seems simple enough. No more explanation needed. Now
Yeah.
the tiers get a little more expensive and a little more juicy as we go up. So the next one's about $30 US. And as I understand it, that's everything previous and 2,000 tokens.
That's correct, except it's now 5,000 tokens. So wherever you see 2,000, it's now 5,000.
Whoa. Okay, well there you go, everybody. 5,000 tokens. That's insane. Oh yeah, you started the campaign and then you changed it from 2,000 to 5,000. So the next tier gets you everything we said plus creative license. Now explain what you can and can't do with creative license.
Well, to put it basically, so long as you don't try and sell the tokens as a complete pack, break it into other token packs, and use it as part of a product, you can use it for pretty much anything. I had someone ask me if they could use it for posters or for book art or for printing on their mouse pads, and that's fine.
Yeah, the only restriction is you just can't resell the tokens by themselves.
Correct.
Right. All right, great. That seems like an insane deal. $40. I mean, that's crazy. That's so good.
That's for the tokens.
Yep.
Yeah, no wonder you're getting a lot of backers on this. Okay, the Omniverse is about $66. looks to me like it's pretty consistently whatever an Australian dollar is, a US dollar is 2/3 of that.
Okay.
So this one gets you everything we just talked about, and what else, Chris? This is where I got confused.
Well, the one before it is just tokens, and this one's the maps and the tokens. Creative licensing.
Oh, I see. It was just the tokens. Okay.
Mhm.
Okay, great. Oh, so that explains it. And then now you go down here, and it's everything we talked about so far, but it adds 144 Solomon Temple Square Dungeon Builder square sets, a creative license to use those, 100 dungeon rooms and corridor tiles, and creative license to use those as well. So that one's $193. That's a little more expensive, but you get. I mean, if you're a map maker, get
Yes.
lost.
Yeah, this lets you build your own, and those Solomon Temple squares are like kind of like old school. They're really cool looking. They're kind of like a retro kind of look to them.
And then that's the last tier. So
Hold on, go back up to
No,
take a
there's
look
the
at that.
map hatter.
Yeah.
oh, did I miss one?
No.
Yeah, you get
There you go.
Oh, this is the one.
5-hour lessons.
Yeah, that's the one.
Oh, I just.
You kind of blew by it. Yeah, there you go. Of course, we're behind too. We're delayed.
I don't see it in there.
It's right there, Mapverse. Look at the very bottom. 5 times 1 hour lessons with master mapping within GIMP.
Yep.
Why am I not seeing that?
Your scrolly thingy is probably messed up.
Never mind. I'm sorry. So here's what's happening is you see my screen changing.
Yeah, yes.
It's because my push to talk button is control. And if I
Yes,
scroll and hold that at the same time, it does this.
Yeah, use the slider.
Yeah, okay. So you get everything in the last one and 5 1-hour sessions with Chris using GIMP to teach you how to do maps like he does.
Yep.
Which I have done that with him. And I did it about, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago, Chris. And it's crazy. It's insane. He really just does lay it down from layer to layer, and you can make maps like he makes maps. So if you're a map guy, and that's the one that costs $400, so you're really diving in deep if you do that.
Yep.
And so does that have limited number of backers? Oh yeah, 30. So
Yeah,
only
it's a
30
big class.
It is a great class. All right, so now I'm going to back it. I think the one that was that I was looking at is yes. Yep, this one right here. Boom. Pledge.
Yeah, baby.
Continue. Rob T, you just backed. I understand.
Yay.
Pledge.
Tweet it.
And I'm going to tweet it.
Thanks a lot, Rob.
Yep. Oh, there, the count went up. The money went up. I saw it happen live. And now I'm going to post it. Boom, on my Twitter account. Boom. There you go, everybody. If the show host can back it, you can back it. So, did we miss any questions? I haven't been looking at the chat. Oh, so next we'll get to the line of sight. Is creative license required for streaming? I don't know, Chris. Is that?
No.
No, you can use my products whether you have a license or not to stream them. So if you want to stream with them, go ahead. It's not going to cost you anything. You're not going to get in any trouble. There's a real shortage of people allowing people to do that. So I'm glad I can offer that to the RPG community. Shouldn't be so difficult, hey?
Yeah.
Yeah, the art thing is getting crazy right now with the people being against AI and all that.
Yep. And Chris uses GIMP usually, right? Is that correct, Chris? You still using GIMP more?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So that's free. So that doesn't cost you anything really, and other than time. And right now, there's a big uproar about Adobe. So if you're somebody who wants to abandon Adobe, and you've got skills or stuff that you want to polish up in GIMP, the Chris option sounds about right. Good timing, by the way.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, let's take a look at a couple of these. Now, Leroon did add line of sight to a couple of these maps. And so we'll show you. Oh no, home. Campaign. So we've got 4 of these maps. I'll open one here. Okay, and Leroon, do you want to tell us what you did?
I reached out to Chris. We both kind of mutually reached out, but he and I have worked together before, and he had mentioned kind of in passing that maybe he'd want to put some line of sight on there. I kind of felt like, at the time when he put these out, a lot of them were put out through Grounds Classic, and it was a different process. Now that you have the Forge, and it's a lot less strenuous and a lot less complicated, I offered to kind of help him a little bit on it and do some of the labor with him. He's basically doing all the organizing, releasing, uploading, but I'm going to be doing the line of sight for them. And only because it's a lot of work. He's got like 2,000, 3,000 maps. So I think if this works out, if these do okay, then we'll probably keep putting them up uh, on the forge. Does that sound about right, Chris? I mean, I'm kind of talking for you. So.
Yeah, no, that's right, man. Map header and marks, and we'll be doing, I guess we're calling it Meanders Plus, where the idea was Aaron's and lay runes, and he wants to start from the end process of Meanders, which was Egypt and post-apocalyptic, and work backwards and add line of sight to them all, which I'm a one-man army, but there's only so many things I can do, so for lay rune to offer to put line of sight in works really well for both of us, and it also um, keeps them relevant. Like one of the things that was sad about FGU is that it did kind of disrupt meanders a little, but now we're looking at going back and putting line of sight into all of the meanders potentially, and then putting them on the forge, so they'll be available to Fantasy Grounds users with all the updated features.
Yeah. So the map that we're looking at here is a lot of rooftop maps. Is that correct, Chris?
Yeah,
Or
it's like
open?
Cairo, Egypt. This one.
Yeah. So some of these are not actually like fully indoor, like they're kind of outdoors. So like some of these are like courtyards, and then you have like these covered tent areas on top of a roof. So that's why they're kind of different in regards to doors and stuff, because a lot of them don't have defined doors. So I had to kind of interpret that. And so, the nice thing about Fantasy Grounds is if you don't like where a door is, you can always move it. It's not the end of the world. But I put doors in there so that you can move in and out of the buildings, and I put them over around the awning area. So I figured that would be an area where people would go in and out of that court area. And each one of those represents kind of a walled in kind of courtyard thing. So when you go up to these rooftops, like when you're on top, you can move between them a little bit. And I kind of made it so you have a point of egress and then, a point of entry. They don't have defined doors, but when you hover over a certain area, you'll see a door signal or symbol, and then you can go in that way. So if you need the doors, there's plenty of assets out there where you can actually put a door frame on it if you need to. But this is the way these are, and other maps do have defined doors. This one just happens to be all rooftops, so it's kind of an interpretation thing. Like some people may say, oh, that shouldn't have any doors, and other people says, well, those should have doors. So I put doors on them just so you can traverse between them, or at least go in and out of them. But they don't necessarily have a graphical representation of a door because they're technically above on a rooftop. And you were going to assume that somebody would probably go up a staircase underneath the awning. So that's the thing about those, is like, how do you interpret that? So these have line of sight on them only because if you're coming from the ground, from where the tokens are now, you won't see that structure. But when you're entering, you'll be able to see inside. And the green areas are just shadow casters. They don't produce any sort of blocking or any sort of movement restriction. They're just for casting shadows. Because Rob, if you put on the light bulb thing, the lighting setting for lighting, yeah, there
That
you
one?
go. Yep, that one. Or you can even go take the enable line of enable or disable lighting. Put all of them on.
Put them all on?
Yes.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
So now when you're a player, you grab one of those tokens, you'll be able to see how they are. Yep.
Yep.
So the reason we did it that way, or I interpret it that way, because it's kind of a mixture between accessibility and how a player might interpret or even a GM might interpret the map. So my first inclination is not to put any at all, but there has to be something there. So that's what all that is. In most cases, you don't have to do this. Like, it would have a defined doorway, and you'd be able to really easily tell what's what. But in this case, you have a rooftop situation. So I had to do my best to kind of do both worlds. Like, you have line of sight, but then you also have areas that are open, and so that's why they're like that. But most of the other ones that Chris has are not that way. This is
Let's take a
probably one
look
of the
at
few.
let's take a look at another one here.
Yeah, these are all in the same series, so they're going to be similar, but you'll see what.
I think it's a good compromise you did there, Leroy.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think so
because
too.
it's not defined. It's just kind of like wherever the awnings were, I put the doors. So
Yeah, which makes structural sense. As you say, you're looking top down, and it's more like two-story buildings, so you wouldn't be able to see the doors.
yeah, exactly.
I
But you
also
have to be able
don't.
to move in and out too.
Right. I also don't put a lot of doors in my maps in general, so that
Yep.
people can choose where they are.
Yep. That
And
makes
if you
sense.
do need doors, they're in the token pack. So
Yep.
What's neat now in Fantasy Grounds, you could actually take the border off if you wanted to too, and
Yep.
stack more maps together.
oh,
That's right.
nice.
That's right. So Drake is saying that if you wanted to butt up another image with this one, you can do the meander thing, and connect them easier. Yep.
Yeah,
Oh, there's a
Meanders
door over
are
there.
ahead of their time
Yes, they were.
in terms of memory consumption. It's
Hmm.
gotten a lot better now, so you can actually put meanders together like they were intended. But 5 years ago or so, you could really only have one meander at a time. But now it looks like you can start to tile them
Yep.
and get the benefits of what they were designed for.
Yeah. So you can actually put a map side by side and benefit from that continuity. So if you wanted to make this a one big town, you can put all four of those tiles together. But we don't need to necessarily do that here, but you can do that. So if you treat them like a tile and you connect them, top, bottom, left, and right, they 99% of the time they line up pretty well. So that's a thing that I always liked about meanders, is that you have that flexibility to connect them if you want, or you can use them as standalone, and they're not too big. Like, meaning, like, most of the maps that Chris makes are within the pocket of what Fantasy Grounds expects in regards to dimensions and size. So they're perfect, like a perfect mix between a large map and a medium-sized map, and then they have a good size for file size. They just work. So um, we had discussed that, like how big these files are. And we converted them all or we're going to convert them all to WebP, and that cuts down the file size. And then for line of sight, I think I'm going to keep it more simple and not be as complicated, because that helps with the some people have lower spec computers. So if you have something that's got like 50
Yeah,
million dots,
turn on the
what
line of sight again.
is, yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Which one is that?
No, he's
I meant the simplicity that you put on the map.
oh
Just turn
okay.
just turn on
the
the
brick
wall up
Yeah.
there on the top.
show-
Oh, this.
show-
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
So that's
see?
not very complicated, right? That's
nice and
pretty
simple
basic.
too.
Yeah, so that way, you're not trying to figure out what's what and where's that. So that one is actually probably the most complicated one out of all four of those. So I think Chris agreed to do these in sets of, 4. Maybe in the future, if they do well, we'll do a little larger, a little smaller, but 4 seems to be about the right amount for each pack. And they're all themed.
I got a question. What does 5,000 tokens look like?
Oh my God.
It looks like you need a new hard drive.
Yeah. No, he's got sets of them, but there's so many of them. I mean, some are themed, some are for certain map packs, and then some of them are standalone. He's just got billions.
Does it take you a week to download them all? I don't know.
No,
5,000.
but
So,
if sorting them might be a deal.
No, that's what I mean.
not to break the flow here or anything, but I was backer 302, and there's currently 304 backers. So
That's
a
good.
couple more people did it. McClancy, Cheerbits, thank you, sir. Thank you so much. If you're
Yeah,
in
Mark.
the chat, if you're in the Twitch chat and you backed Chris's Kickstarter, give us a shout. Give us a backed in all caps, so we know
Yep.
who you are, so we can congratulate you.
Thanks, everyone. Much appreciated.
Yeah, so I really like the Meander series, just the fact that it covers just about everything. You can't really go wrong. Like even if you don't use half of them, it's still nice to have them.
There you go. There's two right there that backed.
So it was Agent Covenant and McClancy 10,006 and myself that backed it, and then
Nice.
Caesar says he's going to do just the tokens. And
Yep.
Garvster is apparently going to back it right now.
Wow.
Nice.
Cool, guys. I don't think you'll be disappointed. The only thing is the Kickstarter ones, you'll have to put the line of sight on yourself, but I'm working with Chris on getting separate ones put up on the Forge in case someone doesn't want to, or if they miss the Kickstarter, they can get in on that.
Let's look at the last one here.
All right.
Well, I got a question for you, Chris. You got the PNG files for the tokens. Do you have like the stand-ups images? That would be a nice pack.
Oh yeah, that would do well.
All right.
So Chris, do you have a different perspective on them, on the tokens, like a full view and a top down, or you just do all top down?
So they're all top-down cartography assets. It's a
Okay.
concentrated set. If you can see it in my maps, it's more than likely in the token set.
Okay.
But in terms of stand-ups, I actually started doing stand-ups when I first started doing digital design for gaming.
Mhm.
I was doing like Hero Quest assets like windows and archways and doors and shop fronts and things like that. And then I actually transitioned to completely top down. So
That makes
no,
sense.
there's no other perspective, and there's no PC or NPC tokens. There might be some bodies in there,
Right.
but yeah, I left that field to Devon Knight.
Right. Exactly, because you don't want to compete against those individuals, or they're already pretty established. So
Yeah, I loved his stuff. I think I've got all of his tokens, and I used them religiously when I was a DM. But yeah, you got to choose a field and specialize, and you can't try and you know you stay in your lane. And once you figure out what your lane is,
Yes. Yep. Makes sense.
Whoa, it's up to 307 now.
Wow.
thank you
So
very much, everyone.
six
Thank you.
backers during the
Boskin
show.
Foss and Notham.
Yeah.
This particular map doesn't have any doors because there are stairs coming up into areas that you can't get to from the outside.
Mm-hmm.
So hashtag portals revamped. Stairs.
Yeah. Yep.
And so that's why there's no doors on this one.
Can you check out the line of sight on it?
Yeah,
There's got to
right
be
here.
at least one door.
No, there's no doors, and it's because the areas you can't get to,
Yeah, I see.
they're
now.
second floor from below, right? So
Yep.
you got to come up the stairs.
Yep.
Yep.
Makes
And that's
sense.
why you need the portals. Hashtag portals.
Yep.
Portals revamped.
If
Yep.
you
So-
want to do some more maps, Rob, there's plenty on my Kickstarter page. If you want to show people some maps that do have doors and the different genres and things.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's take a look.
Yep. So blow
I
up
still
one
didn't
of
finish
those
scrolling
pages.
down.
Yeah.
Oh no, I'm at the top again. Now
That's
people
all right.
people see this.
Well, let's see some of the other stuff too. Like, look at that map.
Yeah, so this is something people have made and then printed out.
Mm-hmm.
You know, gone to like the printing store and made themselves a campaign map for the. I mean, it's pretty crazy.
Looks pretty good. Chris, was that a commission or what was that? That dragon one?
Yeah, so the top one is the first map I ever did, and the bottom one was a commission for Dragon Throne's LARP
Uh-huh.
a few years ago, and they wanted like an old world, ancient looking map that they could use to set up actual military tactics for their LARP in Pennsylvania, I think it is. They hired a castle, and they had about 100 people all dress up in medieval garb and split
Holy
into
moly.
factions. And I think you can see some of the some of the like military tokens and things they were using to plan their attacks against each other on that map. But yeah, I was really pleased with how that one turned out, and it was really, really cool to be part of something like that and know that people were, standing around plotting on one of my actual maps. It's a little bit different to a meander, but
Really?
there's all different ways to do maps.
Yeah, I misspoke. I said you could use the meanders to make those. That is not something I should have said. I didn't realize those were original artworks that you had been drawing, which are fantastic. I wish I had each one of
You
those.
said
on
you
my
were about
wall.
8 when you drew that basic one up there, the colored.
I think I was about 12.
Oh wow.
12 years old, you mean?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
He already knew what he wanted to do at age 12.
I could maybe color in the ocean if you asked me to, maybe.
Yeah.
And it would have to already be there. I'd have to know where the lines are.
That takes a lot of patience. To do
All right,
that
so let's
color.
go get into it here. And you guys should really, if you read the whole Kickstarter page, it's pretty
Pretty in
illuminating.
depth. Yeah.
So yeah, there's all the types. So we'll go past
There's
those.
forest, jungle, nighttime.
I mean,
modern.
a lot.
Rob's getting killed by Kevin at age 12.
And then there's the tokens.
Yeah, so that's just a little snapshot there.
Yeah. That's just the types.
This is a good page. Rob, can you stay on that one?
Which one?
Those right there. Like, look at that. Does that pop out, that image, or is it embedded?
No, it's embedded.
Okay. If you don't mind, if you could zoom in a little.
Oh, I can. Yeah, I could do that. Whoa.
Other way. Yeah. Scroll down a little bit.
Whoops.
Yeah, there you go. So that was a dwarven thing. There you go. So I think that was the dwarven one. It looks like it. No, that's the. I don't know. What is that, Chris? I can't tell. It's like a
The
town.
one that's on the screen
It's-
right now,
it
that's
says-
the Fantasy City.
Yeah, it says
Yeah,
F
so
City.
that's what he's got 2 or 4 seasons, and then he's got like a day and night for that. So you're getting snow and all that stuff in fall and winter and summer, but then you also get the the day and night. So if you're doing like Dragon Heist, that would work great for that because you can, that had seasons in it, so that would work for that. You know, especially if you don't have a map of Waterdeep and you don't have a situational map, that would be perfect for that.
I'm trying to zoom in, but it doesn't
Yeah, that's
necessarily
okay.
work good to do that.
Yeah.
So Chris, I'm trying to find the ones you wanted to showcase.
Oh no, that's okay. That's fine. What you're doing is great. I just
Oh,
wanted
that's
people to
cool.
see that there's a lot. There's dozens and dozens of genres. There's Western, there's sci-fi, there's fantasy, it's post-apocalyptic, zombie, Atlantis. I mean,
Here's an
arenas.
arena. Everybody's
Yeah,
always
Dragon
asking
Hall,
for a good
everything.
arena. There's one right
that's
there.
my favorite. That Rob, you should be using that on your pickup games because he's got different ones like with different environments too.
That's where we used to teach the combat system for Fantasy Grounds. Remember,
Yeah,
later?
yeah, it was fun.
And we'd slaughter everyone after the session was finished. Total TKO.
Yeah, these are just
So-
fantastic.
It's so cool now with some of the Fantasy Grounds art pack assets. You can add like smoke coming out of chimneys, and
Yeah,
I've
done that with these. Matter of fact, I did it just a few streams ago. I was working on something and I had steam coming out of the top or smoke.
There's just a few. There's just like a couple dozen tokens out of 5,000.
Yeah.
Here. Shit.
So Chris's
Wow.
maps work pretty well with most of the Fantasy Grounds art packs because I've used them together. So the maps that he's made blend pretty well with stuff that Josh has built. So they don't clash. Some art styles just kind of don't go together. That's not a problem for most of the meanders.
like trying to match something that Schley did or something. You're like,
Yeah, it
"Grr."
just doesn't look right. It just looks really weird.
Yeah, see, here's
Uh,
the
oh yeah,
interconnectivity right here.
yeah.
They
So
all
that's
they all
really
go
cool.
together.
I own the whole campaign cartographer thing.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah,
I
me
never
I
too.
don't use
used
it.
it though.
Yeah, I don't use
Nah.
it either.
I've never. I mean, I have used it, but
I'm not an
like
AutoCAD
7 or 8
guy.
years
So,
ago.
yeah. Okay. Yeah. So that ship starter is probably. I mean, the arena, the ships, and I have to say the squares, the Solomon squares. So if you guys are OSR and you guys like the old classic stuff, the Solomon squares are the shit.
Now
And look
here's
at that.
somebody that actually did print out the meanders.
Yeah, that's one of that ship starter, Chris.
Yeah, that was a custom design for Shipstarter. It didn't really go further than the commissioner, but I'll be including it.
Wow,
Nice.
that thing is just tremendous.
All right. So let's go back up and check. I think we got at least one more. Oh, so during the show we've had 8 backers, including me.
Yay! It's about
That's
8
great.
or 9 people. Yep, that's good.
Yeah, we started at 301 and now we're at 309.
Very cool.
So if
Thanks very much.
if you're watching this on YouTube, you have until June 23rd,
2024.
2024 to back this on Kickstarter. I will have the link in the description below. And if you're watching live with us now on Twitch, back it. Do it.
And I've also did a recording of the line of sight that I'm working on, so I'm going to drop those once in a while and show those as the process. So not only am I working, but I'm also showing you guys how I do it. So if you guys are inclined to buy the ones with line of sight on them and you don't really get in on the Kickstarter, or maybe do both, that's just me kind of showing off the work and then also showing the community how to use the map tools. So that's kind of a killing 2 birds with 1 stone. And that's another reason why I offered to do it, because I thought, I'm already doing these map challenges. I might as well do it and then, make a difference.
And for
So-
people that might not want to buy or can't afford it and they want to watch how you do it, which are you dropping it in Fantasy Grounds Academy Discord, or where are you?
Yeah, those go into our stream announcer, but they're on our YouTube channel.
Oh, on your YouTube
Um,
channel. Okay, great.
Yeah, I have a thing. I'll put just one link out there. I think I have moderation, so I can do this.
Yeah, you should be able to. If not,
Yep.
I'll do it. So yeah, go to the there you go. So go to his go to the Fantasy Grounds Academy YouTube channel, and you'll be able to find the video for how he's
Right.
making
This will
this,
show
right?
the philosophy why I put doors, and then other times I didn't. This kind of goes into interpreting the map, because not everyone looks at the map the same way. So you have to kind of forgive and forget, or do your own thing sometimes, because there's stuff like that is kind of up to you, like how you really ultimately. And when someone does that for you and you're not happy with it, then you're gonna have to know how to do it. So that's kind of why I did the video too, and I also was showing Chris my process too, because I wanted him to see the process. So that it was kind of like a 3 for 1, you know. So I'll do those occasionally. I'm not going to do every single map, but I'll do, like, when I start a new set, I'll probably maybe do like one per set. The idea is to have a link for the product. So if somebody wants to see what's going on with them, they'll have that product link, just like you do, Rob, with your, how you used to make
Right.
videos. So similar to that.
So now you and those are going to be for sale on the Forge, right?
Yeah, in packs. Yeah, they'll be
And so
separate from Kickstarter.
for those people who value time more than money, is why they would get those. What's your pricing structure going to be, or have you not decided?
It's pretty fair. I mean, I don't remember the exact number, but
$1
it's not
million
overly.
dollars.
Yeah, it's not going to be ridiculous. I know that.
Yeah, can we give it people any idea, or we have to wait until you do it?
Chris, you can answer that. I think we kind of settled between us, but I don't know what the price was going to be. I don't remember.
Yeah, sure. So originally we were thinking 5 maps for $4. But now I think we're going to do 4 maps for about $3. The
Okay.
meanders have always sold for $1 each, so you'll be getting one free, basically. And
Yep.
4 is a good number because you can build a entire block if you want to put them all together. So it kind of makes sense to sell them in 4 in an even number rather than 3 or 5.
Yep.
Right.
And I'm also doing the labor on it, so we'll get most of that line of sight in there. And like I said, I'm going to keep it kind of simple, so it's not going to mess up your computer too much. Sometimes that happens on computers that are lower spec or perhaps too complicated. So we'll try to keep that to a minimum.
Are
Yeah,
you
I think
thinking
they're
about
working
doing any
great.
token packs?
Hydrate.
Token packs.
Sorry, what was that?
Yeah, token packs,
He
Playroom?
already
Are
has
you
those,
thinking about
actually. Well, he already has those.
on the Forge?
No, on the store. Token packs are already on the store. He's got tons of them. They were done during Classic, but token packs don't need line of sight.
Yeah,
So
I was kind of thinking I'd like them on the Forge, then I could turn them
Okay.
on and off if I wanted them.
right. Okay. Well, we'll
Right,
have to
the
talk-
store are they're there, right?
Yeah, they're permanent. Yeah.
I
But
don't
we'll
know.
see how this goes, because we're kind of like in a testy feely thing here where we
Mhm.
want to see how it goes, and if it does take off, then we'll do that. I don't know. I can't make any promises, but
I love the Lovecraftian.
yeah, that is cool. That's a fairly recent one. That should be coming up sooner than later. I mean, it's not real recent, but I think he put that out a couple years ago. Lovecraftian.
Yeah, that was one of my favorite sets to make. I'm a huge Lovecraft fan.
Yeah. So that should be coming up, because we're going to work backwards from his meanders. So we're going to go from the newer ones to the older ones. So
I also love the Western one. We used some of it when we were playing Deadlands. Morbanio was running. It was cool.
So I put the link to the Kickstarter in the Twitch chat again. Guys, if you're watching and you find this interesting, make sure and tell your friends that are RPG people that they need to know about this and come get it in the next 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Because it's really cool. I mean, the value that he's offering for the money that you spend is insane, and you can't deny it's a good deal. And you will never use what you're buying. You won't use all of it.
If you do, you're amazing.
Yeah, I guess it's conceivably possible, but in your campaigns, you'll have a basically, I mean, I'm speaking figuratively here, but an infinite amount of combinations.
Wanted to ask Chris. I don't think I brought this up to you, so I'm gonna put you on the spot here. But would you be okay or consider a slideshow with these meanders? So like a kind of a rapid fire slideshow. It just kind of occurred to me that that was never happening.
Can you give me more detail? What do
Sure.
you mean?
So like if you took like the meanders and put them in a digital slideshow type format and put them in like TikTok or whatever social media you want, and what it would do is just fly through your collection, but then also link to wherever you want to, sell them from. So we could do that for your, for the store or for the forage if you want. It just came to me.
Sure.
That's why I brought that up. Yeah, I mean, if you're good with it, I'll do it. If not, no biggie. No.
Man, if
Yeah,
you're
I'm good with
running Dungeon of the Mad Mage, you got to get all these tokens. So the maps have nothing on them, and these would you could
Yeah.
just drop them in a table, a bed, a table, a chair. Just throw
Exactly.
this stuff in there.
Yep. I agree. I mean, there's a lot of utility for the set. It isn't just buying a bunch of maps. I mean, there's the potential to tile them together and then add more tiles on top of that, and they work with Fantasy Grounds and they work with Fantasy Grounds assets. I mean, there's not just that, but I like the style of them, and they're very colorful, and they're not pencil drawn and all that other crap. So I don't know. I like him, and then he does have the black and white ones for Solomon squares that we unlocked by supporting the Kickstarter. So that's cool too. So if you like black and white, he's got tons of those too.
Yeah, it's just, I mean, it's nothing less than incredible.
Yeah, it is.
Chris,
I never honestly thought this would ever be like this.
now, so I read, Chris, I don't want to talk out of school here, but someone said to me that they assumed this was your exit from doing all of this. Is this a cash out here? Are you going to concentrate on university and the rest of your life and not do this anymore? Or is this kind of the end project, or am I wrong about that?
No, you're right. I'm cashing out, as you say. Game Tile Warehouse web store closed on the 7th, a couple of days ago. I didn't decide to renew it. Been going to university for the last 2 or 3 years, and I'm halfway through an undergrad, studying international relations and counterterrorism, and that's kind of my that's kind of my direction. So that kind of ties in with this in terms of trying to make the world a better place in different ways, and I really just genuinely wanted to do something nice for the RPG community, considering how much it's given to me, and I just wanted to make all of my stuff available to as many people as possible as I exit the industry.
That's amazing. That is such
That's
such a great thing to hear. Truly, it is.
It's not a fire sale.
All of the noise, everybody, was thank you to McClancy 10,006 who gifted 5 tier 1 subs to Lady Elkel, Simbarchi, Avon Covenant, Critfest, and Kelwani.
Nice.
So, yep, you can thank McClancy for doing that, because he just and that horn went off 5 times.
Let's give away a prize.
Let's give away a prize. All right, let's do it. Let me bring up the prize giver.
So usually Rob will give away something.
Yeah, I always give away something on every show.
Yeah.
So we'll do a keyword raffle here, and this we obviously can't give away a Kickstarter thing, so don't get your hopes up. But what we will do is give away what we normally give away, which is a prize from a free item from either the DM's Guild or the Fantasy Grounds Forge that has my name on it.
Keyword
So-
meanders.
Keyword meanders, great. All right, so let's start the 1 minute countdown. Everybody enter meanders into the chat, exclamation meanders. Now, as a reminder, again, let me just be clear. You're not getting a meanders prize. That's just the word because Chris is here today. And we're giving away something that I can give away. So we'll count down on that for another 35 seconds, and then I'll draw a winner. Chris, is there anything we left out? Anything you want to say? Any message you would like to impart? Any other thing you'd like to get off your chest before we before we wind down the show?
No, I think that's covered it nicely. I appreciate everyone coming along. I appreciate everyone helping host the show and boosting up the funding, sending the signal out. Thanks very much. Really appreciate it. And thanks for having me on the show, Rob, Leroon.
Great.
Yep.
Excellent. Thank you
Hey,
for being here, Chris. Thanks for taking the time. We know it's early
He's-
morning. Chris is in the future. He's in like June 10th. It's insane. He lives in the future.
it-
I don't understand it.
Is it noon, Simbarchi? And is it around noon there?
Yeah, it's
Uh,
lunchtime.
Okay.
Okay, Moskenfaz is the prize winner. So Moskenfaz, you know what to do.
And not a
Sweet.
subscriber?
No, that's
no, that
broken.
thing's broken.
I was gonna say what?
So Moskenfaz, you can pick a item. Moskenfaz has won as recently as May 24th. So I don't think I need to remind him how to collect his prize. He knows what to do.
So next week, Rob, guess I'll be back. And
Yes, next week, let's take a look at what next week is. I'll go back to the let's go look at next week.
normally I haven't done back-to-back shows, but when Rob wasn't feeling well and we, that sort of thing, we kind of pull together, pull it together.
Well, and we didn't know Chris was going to be on the show today until like a few
No, we
days
didn't.
ago.
No,
Because I reached out to him and he's like, yeah.
what was really crazy, Rob, it's synchronistic because we were kind of talking about that before.
Oh, excellent.
So you just kind of chimed in right at the right time.
Right. So
It was meant to be.
it was meant to be. So next week, you guys, Leroon will be back to talk about AI and Fantasy Grounds. So you don't want to miss that.
Yep.
And
Yeah, we'll do a little AI stuff, kind of like an update. Like I've done a lot of AI videos that has to do with Fantasy Grounds content, but there's a little bit more capability and utility to it. But then there's also a whole bunch of other crap. So yeah,
Right.
we'll get into that.
all right, and then just gonna remind everybody that we do broadcast 4 days a week here on this channel. Wednesdays we switch between a couple games. We do Solasta or Jackbox party games. Friday we do the Panovo pickup games. Now the Panovo pickup games, the last one of those will be this Friday because the following Friday we're actually starting the campaign. So you don't want to miss that. Fridays is the Panovo campaign. Saturdays we switch between Drake's show, which is currently against the Giants, and Robin's show, which is currently Dragonlance. The Dragonlance will soon be Panovo as well, run by the creator of Panovo, Robin. And Drake, you're against the Giants games changes into what after that?
Somebody else running something.
Okay, so when that comes to an end, we're gonna figure out what we're gonna do. And then Sunday, of course, is this show. You never want to miss it because we always give away a prize and have a fantastic guest.
So Mosk and Foz says, "Do you have links to the DMs Guild and Forge?" Is he serious or is he just throwing your?
Oh yeah, no, I know what he wants.
Okay. All right. I was gonna say you don't know where those are at.
No, but I put the ones with the I think he wants the ones with the affiliate code.
Got it. All right. Cool.
Yeah. So I put them in the chat. Thank you, Mosk and Foz. Well, thanks once again to Chris McDermott, Matt Patter for joining us on the show. We really do appreciate your time, Chris. And thank you to my co-host Leroon, the OG, and Drake Takes, always a staple. He's here every time. And we missed Fury tonight. We don't know about her, and today was Robin Days off, so that's it. I hope you enjoy the rest of your weekend, everybody. And until we see you back here, hopefully on Wednesday, good gaming, everybody.